In this video, how to open a US LLC as a non-US resident. Forming a US limited liability company is a powerful move for foreign entrepreneurs, investors, and digital nomads looking to tap into the US market, protect assets, or optimize taxes. With over 2.8 million LLCs registered in the US just last year alone, this flexible structure is a global favorite. We'll walk through the step-by-step process, benefits, compliance requirements, tax implications, and potential pitfalls, all based on the most recent 2025 data. Inspired by our recent video on the foreign tax credits and other videos on our channel about US LLCs, this video is going to be a step-by-step process. And by the way, if it sounds intimidating to do it all yourself, it is. There's a lot of pitfalls. MyLatinLife, we're a full-scale immigration consultancy, and we can open a LLC for you in the US as a non-US person. We do this for Canadians, Europeans, Australians, all non-Americans. We help them open US LLCs and optimize their tax structure. If this sounds interesting to you, if you have some burning questions about this, there's a link in the description where you can book a call with us and get the process started. You could be speaking to us as early as this week. Moving on with the video, first let's clarify why non-US residents choose LLCs. An LLC offers pass-through taxation, meaning profits and losses flow to owners' personal tax returns, avoiding the double taxation of C Corps, which face a 21% corporate tax rate, plus personal taxes on dividends. Non-residents typically avoid U.S. taxes entirely if the LLC has no U.S.-based operations, paying taxes only in their home country. LLCs also provide liability protection, shielding personal assets from business debts or lawsuits. For example, if your LLC faces a $50,000 lawsuit, your personal savings abroad are safe. And this is not investment advice, but that's the idea. The US's reputation for legal stability and access to a $25 trillion economy make LLCs attractive for e-commerce, real estate, consulting ventures. Basically, my clients, anything to make money online, US LLCs make a lot of sense. And US LLCs are recognized globally, pairing well with territorial tax systems in places like Panama, Paraguay, or the UAE. So let's go over the process step by step. This is going to be a 7 or 8 step process here. And step 1 is choose your state for formation. You can technically form an LLC in any U.S. state, even without living there. Delaware, Wyoming, Nevada, these are all top choices for non-residents. Delaware offers strong privacy, no public disclosure of members, and a business-friendly court of chancery with over 70% of Fortune 500 companies incorporated there. Though you've probably seen there has lately been a move away from Delaware. Wyoming is really good as well. Privacy, low fees, low annual compliance requirements, reporting requirements, and no state income tax, which is hugely important there. So Wyoming is actually the one that we prefer. We don't really do Delaware openings. We primarily do Wyoming openings. Nevada is also quite well known. Similar privacy benefits, no state income tax return, but it has higher fees, higher annual fees, so most people opt for Wyoming. Each state has unique rules, so compare costs and privacy. Step 2, select a business name. Your LLC name must be unique, not matching any existing business name in the state, and include LLC or limited liability company in the name. There is a way to check name availability, but typically what we do is we tell our clients to give us a backup and a secondary backup as well, and usually one of those 3 names will work. And you want to avoid restricted words as well, like the word bank, the word insurance. unless you're licensed for these things. So just don't, be careful about restricted words. Step 3 is appoint a registered agent. Every LLC needs a registered agent, which is a person or service in the state to receive legal documents. As a non-resident, you'll hire a professional service to be your registered agent. And with our service, we include that for you. The agent must have a physical address in the state, which is why you need someone that really is set up there. Step 4 is to file your articles of incorporation. This is the formal step to create your LLC. Submit the articles of incorporation to the state's Secretary of State, including your LLC's name, registered agent, and purpose of the LLC, such as e-commerce, consulting, whatever. You can file online, by mail, or through a formation service, which is what we do. Processing takes 1 to 2 weeks online or 3 to 4 weeks by mail. Non-residents don't need a US address necessarily or a social security number, but you'll need a valid passport and foreign address. And by the way, it might be beneficial to get an ITIN number as well. And we have another video on our channel explaining the ITIN number, the ITIN, and we can help you obtain that as well. Step 5 is obtaining an EIN, an employer identification number. An EIN issued by the IRS is like a social security number for your LLC, required for banking and tax filing. You can apply online. You don't have to go to the US to get an EIN. You'll provide your LLC's details and the responsible party name. And non-residents without a social security number or an ITIN can apply using certain forms, and it usually takes 4 to 6 weeks. An EIN is essential for opening a US bank account, even remotely. So it's really important that you have to realize that there are multiple steps to open your LLC, to get your bank accounts, to get your Mercury, your Wise, all these things. And it can take a month or two to complete all the steps, which is why you want to set up this LLC well in advance of when you actually need it. Now, step 6 is creating an operating agreement. Though not required in all states, an operating agreement outlines your LLC's ownership, profit distribution, and management structure. For single-member LLCs, it's simple. For multi-member LLCs, you need clear terms to avoid disputes. Non-residents benefit from specifying foreign addresses and tax responsibilities. There are some templates online, or you can hire a lawyer to customize one. This document strengthens liability protection and clarifies operations, especially for global businesses. And then step 7 is opening a US bank account, opening multiple US bank accounts to diversify. Most US banks require an EIN, articles of incorporation, and proof of identity like a passport and foreign ID. There are some remote-friendly banks like Mercury or Relay that allow non-residents to open accounts online. Some, like Bank of America, may require a US address, so use your registered agent's address if needed. And some even want a residential address for the individual, and if you need that, we actually have a residential address service at MyLatinLife that you can use to get a normal residential address that's not tied to your registered agent, because the problem is the registered agent address is used for a lot of people, probably 100 plus people. So if you want something more unique, we can help with that as well. US bank accounts are really key because it really simplifies transactions and builds credibility with American clients. Step 8, comply with tax and reporting requirements. Non-residents avoid U.S. federal taxes if the LLC has, quote-unquote, no effectively connected income, ECI, effectively connected income, from U.S. operations, per IRS publication 519. For example, an LLC selling digital products globally from Spain incurs no U.S. tax, only Spanish taxes. Or if you're selling from Paraguay or Panama, whatever, there's no U.S. tax, only taxes in that local country. However, you must file certain forms annually. There's Form 5472 For transactions between the LLC and its owners, there's Form 1120, which is a pro forma return, even with no U.S. income, which might require some annual accounting fees. And again, we can help with this as well. You don't want to forget about these things because missing filings can trigger penalties up to $25,000 per form. If the LLC earns U.S. source income, like from U.S. clients, it will be taxed at the corporate rate or at the pass-through rate, and you may need to file Form 1040-RN. The foreign tax credit, the FTC can offset U.S. taxes with foreign taxes paid, as discussed in some of our other videos. And then there's also FBAR and FATCA reporting that you may want to be aware of as well. And we have other videos on our channel about FBAR and FATCA. So some of the benefits of a U.S. LLC for non-residents. First, the tax flexibility is huge. Non-residents with no U.S. operations, no U.S. employees, often avoid federal taxes, paying only in their home country. Ideal for those in low-tax jurisdictions like Panama, Costa Rica, Paraguay, the UAE. Second, liability protection shields personal assets from business risks. Third, credibility boosts business. U.S. LLCs signal reliability to American clients, and everybody is fine dealing with a U.S. LLC. But if you had like a Hong Kong company or like all these other things, people sometimes don't want to deal with that. But the U.S., very easy to do business with. Fourth, access to U.S. markets, payment platforms, Stripe, banking systems. All these things are going to enhance global operations, allow you to make money, allow you to access the U.S. market. Finally, the LLC pairs very well with territorial tax systems like Honduras, Paraguay, some of the countries I mentioned earlier, where foreign income is untaxed, maximizing savings. So some drawbacks and considerations. Compliance can be complex. There are annual forms and filings that you must do. So it's not that you have annual taxes necessarily, but you still need to do reporting annually, okay? Keep in mind that there's also annual fees. Different states have different franchise fees that apply even without U.S. income. For example, California has an $800 a year franchise fee. Another tricky thing here can be banking, which, it's a moving target. Some banks reject non-residents without U.S. visits. Some banks, they don't want to deal with these like non-U.S. person LLCs. Most of them do. There are ways to strengthen your application. There's ways where you can warm up your account and build trust, build a relationship with the bank. Also, currency fluctuations is something you want to consider as well. If you're converting your dollar-based income into euros or other currencies, just something to be aware of, and those outgoing wires to your home country will probably incur some costs. Also, keep in mind the OECD has the Common Reporting Standard, the CRS, which shares LLC financial data with participating countries. Technically, the US isn't part of the CRS and actually has really good privacy. So privacy is a whole nother topic, but just something to be aware of, kind of how your home country and the US sort of interact and what they share, what information is shared between the countries about you, is something to consider. So this US LLC structure for non-residents, who is it for? I would say anyone running an e-commerce business, a consulting business, real estate ventures. These are the people that benefit most, especially those in low tax and territorial tax countries like Panama, Paraguay, Costa Rica, Honduras, countries like that. Okay? Digital nomads are going to benefit from this massively. They get that US brand credibility. They get access to Stripe and payment processors and the ability to make money in US dollars. So if you want to earn US dollars, use MyLatinLife as your formation services. Not only are we extremely good at opening these Wyoming LLCs, but we understand the full picture, like the whole structure of being a digital nomad, being an expat, being someone from outside the US and how everything sort of intermingles. We know about the banking challenges. We know about how to create a tax efficient structure based on your tax residency abroad. We know how to structure this for Europeans, Canadians, and other people from non-US countries that want to benefit from this structure. So again, link in the description to book a call with us and get the process started. You could be speaking to us as early as this week. And again, it does take some time to get this structure set up. So the sooner you do it, the better. You want to have that US LLC in place. You want to have that bank account in place before you need it. In summary, opening a US LLC as a non-resident is an incredible tool for your toolkit. It involves choosing a state, we like Wyoming, naming your LLC, appointing a registered agent, filing your articles of incorporation, securing an EIN, drafting an operating agreement, and opening U.S. bank accounts. The benefits include tax flexibility, liability protection, U.S. market access, and credibility, especially in low-tax countries. Thanks for watching. If this video was helpful, give it a like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more global business tips and help with your international structure. Again, book a call with us, link in the description, and we'll see you in the next video.